Hello everybody, I'm Redcord. I'm sorry the review of Daring Don't is a little late. I kind of intended to have a special guest in this episode, but I haven't received a reply yet from her, so I guess I'll just have to—
Incoming!
Oh god, this is gonna hurt!
Sorry about that. I'm still working on mastering the rift. I guess this time my landing got a bit messed up. Are you alright?
Yeah, I'm alright I guess, though I know I will be feeling this in the morning. It's nice of you to drop in, Ink Rose, but you could have called to give me a heads up about this.
Oh, yeah, I guess I could have. It's kind of hard to use a touchscreen with hooves, though. Now, you were talking about Daring Don't? The most epically awesome Season 4 episode so far? Look, I even wore my Daring Do hat for the occasion.
That's a nice hat, but I wouldn't consider this one the most epically awesome episode of Season 4, but I would consider it one of the good ones. Anyways, I was about to get the review started, and now since you arrived, I guess we can begin here.
Heck yeah, let's do this, brother.
My sentiments exact there, Ink Rose. So let's get started with Dave Polsky's Daring Don't. So as the episode begins, we see that Rainbow is eagerly waiting for the next Daring Do book to come out in exactly 4 months, but then we fast forward 5 days later because apparently an opening theme song can do that. And now we get the news that the author is expanding the release date on the next book for some reason, which causes Rainbow Dash to become more impatient about waiting and actually decides to go meet the author to help fix the issue.
This reminds me of waiting for Season 4. For one thing, I was the only person in my house who was excited. So when I went up to my mom and told her, 1 more month till Season 4, 1 month, she just kind of looked at me like I was a lunatic, though she wasn't far from being correct.
I think all the fans can relate to Rainbow Dash in this episode when it comes to waiting for a long period of time for either a new season of a show to start or the next adventure in a book series to be released. Man, hasn't anyone ever heard the phrase good things come to those who wait?
Huh?
So the main 6 make it to AK Yearling's place where—
Wait, who now?
AK Yearling? You know, a play-on name for J.K. Rowling?
I see what they did there.
Anyways, they find that the house was broken into, but glad to find that AK Yearling is alright, but now see a group of thugs are after her for some reason. It is then revealed that the author is in fact Daring Do herself?
What a twist!
Oh my gosh, it's Daring Do! This just made this season a whole lot better.
Wait, really? How so? Because to me it kinda seems like a cheap way to create a premise for an episode.
Think about it. This means that all the adventures told of in her books are true. This adds in more world-building opportunities in Equestria since there are over 15 books in the series about her previous adventures. Actually, 16 books now, but who's counting? Anyway, think of all the possibilities now that she's real. All the adventures that could happen, all the lessons that could be learned, all the Indiana Jones references. This makes Daring a real character to be taken seriously, one who has her own personality. She's not just a fictional character in an already fictional world.
Wow. Now that I think about it, that was pretty clever. Not to mention that the fight scene was pretty good to watch, even though the rest of the main 6 didn't do a damn thing throughout the entire scene, and aren't even mentioned until 5 minutes later in the episode. However, in that 5 minutes, we had some good fangirl moments with Rainbow Dash and her idol. This face, oh god, this face. And a kick-ass scene of Daring Do versus Aoi Zoto's minions.
Yeah, there are moments in this episode that questions the main 6 roles in this episode, other than to remind Rainbow that helping others is what they do. Perhaps it could have been just Twilight who accompanied her? Anyway, I think the reason the girls just stood there without helping is really just because of how shocked they were. Think about it, if your absolute favorite fictional character like Indiana Jones or something suddenly appeared in your living room fighting a few goons using his whip, wouldn't you be frozen in shock?
Well, maybe not Indiana Jones, but I can think of a few fictional characters I would love to see in real life.
Same thing goes for how Rainbow kind of acted a bit stupid when it came to how she first tried to help Daring. She was so in shock and processing what had happened, logic went out the window. And why did she feel so depressed when Daring got captured because of her? Once again, how would you feel if your idol, the person you looked up to the most, got captured or hurt because of you? Pretty darn awful.
Yeah, I guess I would be feeling the same way that Rainbow Dash is feeling.
Anyway, next Rainbow rescues Daring and we have an amazing action scene and a heartwarming hug. My new headcanon is that Rainbow and Daring are long-lost sisters. This scene is just too adorable. And to end the episode off, we see Rainbow writing in a journal and then receiving the latest Daring Do book with her in it.
It's nice to see that we got continuity from Castlevania in this episode involving the journal, and I can't wait to see the others write their new adventures later on in the series. So far I would say the story arc for this season is turning out really good, even though the main 6 haven't made any progress in discovering new keys, but I'm sure we're gonna get an episode for that later on. Around this time I usually go over my final thoughts about the episode, but why don't you go first, Inkro, since you are the guest and a huge Daring Do fan.
You know what? I loved this episode. Once you really get over the fact that Daring is real, which wasn't that hard for me, there is a lot of fantastic content to be found. Sure, there might be a few hiccups here and there, but I enjoyed it a lot. If you put yourself in Dash's place, the episode is very relatable as well. One complaint I hear often is that the premise of this episode sounds like a fanfic, but really, what's so bad about something sounding like a fanfic? Aren't there many beloved fics in this fandom? If you think that is bad, then a ton of episodes in the show could be considered bad, because they're a lot like fanfiction. Anyway, yeah, loved this episode.
I think what most people have mixed feelings about this episode is the writer Dave Polsky. I mean, Dave hasn't had much of a good reputation of writing the characters accurately compared to the other writers in MLP. Sometimes his writing relies too much on its comedic values rather than its character development. However, I would say even though he has had some bumps in the past, he still manages to write an episode that was entertaining to watch because of its adventures of Daring Do and the main 6, as well as some short character moments on Rainbow Dash's part. I liked the episode enough to give it a couple of more watches, but I seriously think it doesn't have a chance against the following episode, Flight to the Finish.
Ooh yeah, looking forward to that one.
If the last new writer wrote an episode like Castlevania, then I'm all in for Ed Valentine showcasing his writing skills. Until then, I'm Redcord, and thank you all for tuning in.
Well, I'm off to find some new adventures. Inkro's away!
Wait, not through the... Woof. Well, it looks like I got some cleaning to do until the next episode, so I'll see you all then.